Hello, beautiful people. What's going on? I hope you are feeling good or not. That's also okay. We sometimes feel bad, like sometimes most of the time, sometimes not. Everything is alright, and you will find yourself in a totally different mental space half an hour from now, a week from now, 2 months from now, a year from now. You cannot really forecast how things are going to change, but the only thing you can really forecast is the fact that it's going to change. So I hope that might provide some comfort to know and to trust and to accept and to let go. And I know it's very difficult, it's very hard. It's one of the most difficult things we have to learn as human beings to let go and to not resist the change and to not prevent ourselves from evolving. So yeah, I was just, that's why I'm holding my phone. I was just scrolling through the stories, and I know it's kind of a waste of time, but sometimes it is good to spark ideas, and especially when you're following people who are like inspiring, creative people. Sometimes there is something that is just worth looking at or worth mentioning. And I opened up the stories, and there was this post, and it says, "I am terrified to trust other people to handle my feelings." And this kind of sparked an idea in my head, and I started to think about that. Like, I am terrified to trust people to handle my feelings. It is not other people's responsibility to handle your feelings. It's yours. It's your responsibility to handle your feelings. And for me, I have always been a very sensitive person who is easily overwhelmed by emotions and who can easily feel very confused or upset or overwhelmed, like I said. And it's something that I had to learn to deal with, because other people, they are not responsible for that fact. They can maybe know that I might be sensitive, alright, but the world is not gonna tailor itself to you, and you should also not completely tailor yourself to the world. What I do believe is that you could try to learn behaviors that help you deal with the thing called reality, right? Because sometimes life's gonna be hard. Most of the time, it's gonna be a challenge, and that's a good thing, because it allows you to come up with creative solutions for difficult situations that you find yourself in. And one of those challenges is learning to deal with your feelings and your sensitivity and the overwhelming feelings, right? It can be fantastic to have someone who supports you and who really understands what you're going through, and who can provide you with comfort and appreciation and recognition and all these things. It's amazing when somebody does that, and it feels really good. However, I do believe that in the first place, you should be able to give that to yourself. Like, I've always found this a difficult thing to find the balance between being too sensitive, being too emotional, being too much, and just dealing with reality. If do you does that make sense? Like, yes, I can be very sensitive, but also other people, they are people, and they sometimes they don't want to deal with that, and it's like, yeah, okay, I don't really understand that it's such a big deal for you, but I mean, I want to try to understand, but then again, it's my responsibility to calm myself down, or to to deal with it, like to handle my feelings. It's not another person their responsibility, and yes, they can support me, but ultimately it's my doing, and it's my task to learn to deal with these things. And I do believe that it's very, very helpful for you to learn how to do that. And maybe it can help you to listen to how I usually deal with these things, like, because I believe that everybody finds their own solutions and their own approach to things, and the best way to do that is to take little bits of information or little bits of strategies from different people and different situations. And so maybe my strategy can add a little bit to yours. Not necessarily you have to copy paste everything, but you can maybe take little bits and then apply them in your life, and then it can make your life just like a tiny fraction a little bit better. And that is ultimately what I care about by sharing these videos. So for me, the first step is realizing that I am responsible for my feelings. If I feel overwhelmed, if I feel confused, if I feel hurt, upset, whatever it is, it's my responsibility. Like, so yes, sometimes people are nasty and they, but then try to remember, okay, probably the reason why they're doing this is because they feel shit themselves. Like, I don't believe that a person who is really comfortable in his own skin, in his or her own skin, and like on the right path and doing the things that he or she loves, and they are surrounded by people that care about them and that they care about, like, these people, they don't feel the need to be negative, to hurt others. It's not in their, not even in their mind, because they are so focused on their goals and their purposes and the things they love and like, that they don't feel the need to bring others down. So every time somebody is deliberately trying to hurt me, or I interpret it as them deliberately trying to hurt me, I realize it's sad that they have to do this. I feel kind of like compassion towards them, because I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry you feel like you have to do this in order to make yourself feel better. And that way I can shield myself to so much negativity, like, it doesn't really hit me or hurt me, because I know that they are doing it because they feel shit, and I'm kind of like sad because of the fact that they are maybe even unaware of the fact that they are so sad or angry or disappointed in life, and by realizing that, it can cause you to not take everything that they say or do personally. You understand that they're just feeling bad, maybe envy you, or and then they try to bring you down to their level, but it's not because of you, it's because of them. And so yes, the responsibility for my own feelings, the responsibility to handle my own feelings, is so important. And so I started with awareness, right? Become aware that you are feeling overwhelmed or upset, and realize that, okay, this is not the other person's doing. It might have been a situation that triggered that emotion, yes, and it might be caused by another person acting a certain way, or that might be the trigger for your emotional reaction. But if you then take a moment to look deeper, you will realize that it's something that is generated inside you. It's always generated inside you. An external circumstance, it happens, and your interpretation causes you to have certain thoughts or certain feelings about it. And it's not the external circumstance that does it. It's usually the way you see it, the way you perceive it. Like, even, of course, there is terrible things like people dying or people getting killed, or like diseases and stuff like that. That is an external circumstance that can cause you lots of grief or anger, and it's normal. It's perfectly normal. And at the same time, the way you think about these things can make a huge difference in the way you suffer because of these situations. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody dies, then of course you have to grieve, and you have to first accept that it happened and let go of the pain. But the way you think about it is so important for your healing process. Like, if you can realize that, okay, this had to happen, this is a good thing, this is important that it happened, even though I didn't want it to happen, but I am learning so much because of this, or I realize so many things now, or whatever it is, right? Like, the way you believe that this situation influences you as a person, that is going to make the biggest difference in how you feel about it and what feelings and thoughts it will cause inside you. So I do believe that taking responsibility for your own feelings and handling your own feelings yourself is huge, and no one else is responsible for that. Nobody. It's nice if your partner is supportive and they show understanding, and they tell you that they care and they want to support you, and comfort you, whatever it is. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's what I think is very important in a relationship, even if it's just friends, family. You want to show compassion and try to understand the other person's perspective, etc. It's very important. Respect, it's huge. But in the end of the day, it's your responsibility, and it's your thoughts. They're in your head. The feelings are in your body. So learning to deal with these feelings and emotions and thoughts is crucial. It's crucial to live your life. And so yeah, the awareness is important. The tools you use to calm yourself down. One that I recently discovered and I really liked is just writing down a list of things that I know make me feel good. And during my day-to-day life, I write down every time I notice something that makes me feel good. I try to practice awareness and mindfulness and meditation. And when I do something, I'm like, that was actually really nice. Let me take up my phone and add it to my list. And it grows. It grows over time. And then whenever I'm having a difficult situation, I pull out the list and I look at it, and then I pick something that I can do. And the list, maybe like if it has 50, 70 things I can do, then there is almost 100% with 100% certainty something on there that I would want to do, or at least kind of want to do. And then I go do that. And it makes a huge difference in the way I feel about myself, the way my feelings change. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool, guys. You should really give it a shot. Like, just try to pay attention to what makes you feel good. Like, after you've finished whatever, doing something, and you have a good feeling about it, it energizes you, you feel fulfilled, you feel excited, you feel good, then write it down in the list. And then whenever you feel shit, because when you feel down and shitty, your creativity shuts down. Like it's more like the tunnel vision. I talked about this in earlier videos. It's more like the tunnel vision, and you cannot think really outside the box. And then having this list as a reminder, it's going to be so nice to have it, because it doesn't require conscious effort to think of something that you like doing or that makes you feel better. It's just pulling out the list, and you know that these things will make you feel better, and then you just you scroll through and oh no, I'm not feel like this. Now maybe, take a shower. Sure, I can do that. And you do that, and then you feel so much better, or just even a little bit. It doesn't matter. It's about conditioning yourself to take action towards making yourself feel better in a productive manner, not in a self-destructive manner, right? So that is one thing. Something else is gratitude journaling, like thinking about something that you're grateful for. It can be this beautiful day today. I was walking here, I was like, it's amazing. The sky is so blue, there's no clouds, the sun is nice and warm. It's fantastic. Like, I'm so grateful I can be here and just come here and record a video for you to learn something from, and maybe even myself to learn something from, because I'm like repeating my own ideas and verbalizing them in a more clear way, like, it's so good, it's fantastic, like, I'm so grateful for that, it's wonderful. And so if you can do that, to write something down that you're grateful for, 2 things, 3 things, whatever you feel like, it's gonna help. And then the third thing, and that's also something that I got from Mouth of the Ape, it's like counterbalancing. Which is basically, whenever you're having a negative thought, you want to counterbalance it with 3 positive ones. So when you're thinking like, I am too sensitive, and people cannot handle me, really think about that. Is that a helpful thought? Is that a helpful belief? In my opinion, not really. Being too sensitive, I don't know. People are not able to handle you, I don't know. So you might then counterbalance it with, being sensitive allows me to experience life to the fullest. It allows me to have very rich and deep, meaningful experiences, and I value that. And so it's the same. It's the 2 sides of the same coin. With high sensitivity comes a rich inner life, a rich experience. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, I really believe that it's a beautiful thing. I am grateful for my sensitivity. It allows me to interpret the world in such a rich manner, like, there's so many nuances and I can pick up on them, and it's such a rich experience, and it's fantastic. And the other side of the coin is, yes, I am very sensitive and I can get hurt very badly, and it's sometimes very overwhelming, all these feelings, and that's okay. That's fine. It's fine. Learn to deal with that. Learn your own strategies, your own tools. Learn to accept that you are like that, and be grateful for it. I am really grateful for it, and I hope you will be able to be grateful for it as well, because it's a beautiful thing. Really, it's beautiful. And so other people are not able to handle me. Well, okay, sometimes that's maybe the case. Yes, maybe you're a little bit too much. That's all right. I mean, it's not their responsibility. Like, people have limits. People are people. We are not robots. We are not infinite vessels of energy inputs. Like when you're feeling overwhelmed and so emotional, it releases a lot of energy. There is lots and lots of energy there, and if you're pouring that into another person, well, maybe they reach their limits, and it's fine. Like, it's not their fault, or it's not a bad thing. Like, if they even try to listen to you and to be there for you, that's more than enough. That's like not even something that you can expect from them. Maybe like if you're in a intimate relationship or in a marriage, maybe you can then expect it a little bit. But even then, I believe that you should never expect that from someone. So if they are willing to listen to you and to provide you with some support, listening, respect, attention, stuff like that, then be grateful that they want to help you. And if they then tell you that, hey, it's a little bit too much, I'm overwhelmed, or even if they don't really know how to tell you and they're a little bit rude about it, forgive them. Really, forgive them. They're trying their best, and it's not their responsibility. It's yours to deal with your intense emotions, and every little bit of support you get from someone else, be grateful for that. Accept it, notice it, and even tell them, like, hey, I know it's difficult and it's a lot, and I really appreciate that you actually like took the time to listen to me for even just for 5 minutes and said something nice. That's amazing. Thank you for that. And then use all these little bits of support and energy to fuel yourself and to really learn to deal with the things yourself, right? And then you will find yourself in a much better place, much healthier place, and people will also be less repelled by your maybe even like needy energy, because you feel like, I have to share this with someone because I don't know how to deal with this, and then they find me too much, and they turn their backs, and oh shit, and then they're such bad people, or I am such a bad person, or for being so sensitive and people cannot handle me, maybe I am too much, and then you start questioning yourself and you start thinking like, oh, maybe it's my fault and this and that. It's not your fault that you're sensitive, and it's not your fault that you are very emotional and you can interpret things in a very intense way. That's not your fault. What is your responsibility, though, is to handle those things. It's not theirs. And to really realize that and take action to learn to deal with it, to find your own strategies and tools, that's huge. It's huge. You will thank yourself for it. Other people will thank you for it. Maybe even not like directly or verbally, but indirectly they will. They will be grateful that they can trust that you are able to, like, because sometimes it's also for them very stressful. You love someone and you see their suffering and you want to relieve their suffering by trying something, but you don't know what, and you feel powerless, and it makes you angry, and then like things escalate. So for them, it's also very helpful to know that, okay, hey, I know you're not responsible for my feelings, and I can deal with this myself. However, I do really appreciate when you listen or when you say something like that to me. I do appreciate that, and it means a lot, and it helps me to deal with it more quickly or more efficiently, or in a better way. And I feel loved when you do that. Like these things, it's important to communicate them to the people that you're sharing your feelings with. But ultimately, it's your responsibility. And with that, I wanted to end this video and tell you guys that I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this stuff, to watch my videos. I hope you get something out of it. I hope you learn something. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards. Thank you for taking the time to make yourself and thus this planet a little bit better each step at a time, one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching. Talk soon, guys. Bye.